Hey, what are you doing? Are you already at home now? You left work early, right?
I wasn't feeling well, so I had to leave work.
You shouldn't be skipping work like that. If you're home already, can you make some food for me?
What? Don't you hear me? I came home because I was sick.
So what? I mean, if you're at home already, then you can start cooking now. It should be ready for dinner, right? I'm looking forward to it. So it better be ready by the time I get home. Did you buy beer from the store like I told you to? There wasn't any left in the fridge?
I don't remember you telling me to buy any beer.
You should be checking the fridge every day. It's your responsibility to make sure that there's beer in the fridge for when I get back from work. I don't want any of that cheap stuff from the gas station. Make sure you get the craft beer, okay? That's the one I like most, and I won't accept drinking any other type.
But the liquor store in town is pretty far from our home. I need you to tell me in advance if you want me to go there.
Why should I need to tell you? You can check the fridge yourself, can't you?
Then why don't you go and buy some yourself if you want to drink that badly? It's only you and your mom that drinks alcohol in the house. I don't drink at all, so it's hard for me to notice if there's any left in the fridge.
What? Are you trying to suggest are you gonna make my mom go out to buy the beer? You're such a horrible wife. She's already over 60 years old. Are you really gonna go and make her buy and carry a heavy crate of beer all by herself?
Fine, George. If you're gonna be that insistent, I'll try to ask your dad. Is that okay?
What? Are you out of your mind? You do know that he's the CEO of the company that I work for, right? Are you really trying to ask my boss to go and buy me a crate of beer? That is just stupid.
Are you trying to disrespect him? No, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean to show him any disrespect.
Why can't you do such a simple task? I don't care how you do it, but just make sure there's beer in the fridge by the time I get home. And don't forget to prepare the food as well.
I'm so sorry, but I'm feeling even more sick now. I'm gonna be unable to cook or do anything else. I really need to stay lying down.
Are you seriously saying that? You're my wife and you're telling me that you can't cook? Why did I even marry you?
I have a really bad headache now. It's really difficult for me to stay standing up. Would you guys be able to get takeout food just for the day? I promise I'll cook and buy the beer when I feel a little better.
I don't want to eat takeout food. It doesn't even taste that good. You really need to take responsibility as my wife and cook me dinner. Stop trying to make up excuses and start cooking. It's annoying how lazy you are sometimes.
I'm not being lazy. I just checked my temperature and I have a fever.
That's not even that bad. I'm sure that you'll be completely fine. Just take some medicine.
I really don't think I'm okay. I might need to go to the hospital.
Hey Bona. Stop over-exaggerating things. Just make sure that you wear a mask inside the house as well. I wouldn't want your dirty germs be spread to me or my family.
I'm sorry, but I'm starting to get a headache. I'm gonna put my phone down and lie down for a while.
Are you serious? Don't you dare? Bona. What are you doing right now? You better have started cooking my dinner for me. And all the other housework as well. I want the house clean and the laundry done by the time I get home actually.
I haven't done any of that, George. My fever won't go down even after I took my medicine. I really can't move around. My entire body aches too.
You can't move around? Stop being so dramatic. Are you tied to the bed by some rope or something?
What? No.
Then have you been trapped in a small room somewhere? You're not, right? Then why you're not able to move?
I'm too sick to move.
If that's really the case, then what are you gonna do when you want to use the toilet? Are you just gonna wet the bed? No, right? When you want to go to the toilet, you're gonna get out of bed and move.
Yeah, I would move when I need the toilet.
Then you were lying to me when you said that you couldn't move. How dare you try to lie to me like that? I'm up working so hard to earn a living for both of us. And you treat me so terribly. You need to show me more respect. I'm your husband after all.
I also work hard as well. I do have my part-time job.
So what? It's just a part-time job. Anyone can do that kind of job, so I have no clue what you're trying to suggest to me. Are you trying to say that we're equal? How ridiculous. You're pretty much a housewife that relies on me completely. You're not in a position to talk back to me like that.
Why do you have to be so mean? I'm trying so hard working my job and doing all day. Isn't that the normal thing to do as a wife?
I really don't get why you're telling me this. It must be so nice to be a woman. You can just do an easy part-time job and a bit of housework. What an easy and stress-free life. If you try to work at my company, then you'd probably have to quit within the first hour. I'm sure that you'd be crying for help straight away. Sure, there's no way I'd have any trouble doing what you do. I guess that's what you have to tell yourself to protect the tiny bit of pride. So it's enough. You need to hurry up and start making my dinner.
I told you. I'm not able to make dinner tonight.
How many times do I have to tell you? Just shut your mouth and start cooking. Me and my mom don't want a woman like you in the house. If you're not cooking dinner for me tonight, then I'm kicking you out the house. We don't need a useless, lazy good-for-nothing. You should feel lucky to be my wife. How pathetic you're, Bona. You can't deny anything I said. Because that's normally the truth. Bona! Bona! Hey! Where are you? Dare you to ignore my text? Bona! Such an idiot and rude woman. I'll kick you out of the house.
You're the one getting kicked out of the house.
What? What are you talking about?
I have told your dad all you have done to me.
What?
He's really mad when he knew you were treating me like this behind his back.
Really? You did tell my dad. Why you did that to me? Please tell me it's just a joke.
No, George, I'm telling the truth.
Come on, Bona. This is all just a huge misunderstanding. We sometimes talk to each other like this as a joke, right?
Shut up and stop making such pathetic excuses. Dad said you mustn't even bother coming home tonight. I need some rest and time away from you. I don't want to see you at the house.
Hold on! Bona. I didn't really mean what I said.
Dad's gonna throw all of your belongings outside the front door. Come and get everything before it gets stolen. I'm not letting you ever step foot in the house again.
Are you serious? What am I supposed to do then?
You can go and find a place to live and just live there. You're mature. You need to figure it out. I am so disappointed in you. I don't want to see your faces ever again.
You tricked me! How dare you told my dad about this? You mustn't do that!
What? How can you act so arrogant when you still working in your dad's company? Don't you realize the reason you working there? It's just because you're son of the CEO. If not, they wouldn't employ an incompetent worker like you.
I wasn't trying to act arrogant at all. I was just stating the truth.
You know what, George? If you think a part-time job and housework is not that difficult, then change places with me?
What are you talking about?
I'm telling you to switch places with me and try to do what I actually do. Go ahead and try to do the housework in a part-time job at the same time. Dad also asked me to work for him instead.
Are you serious about this? Do you know what's going to happen to the company if I stopped working there?
I doubt there's going to be any different. You don't really get a lot done at work, Dad told me everything. So if you want, we can make a deal. We'll switch places for 1 month. At the end of the month, the company will take a survey. We'll choose other workers and see which one of us is more valuable to the company.
So you're really serious about this? I think the results are already pretty obvious. I've been working at the company for 4 years. There's no way that you're going to be able to do anything in just 1 month.
Well, let's see. Do you forget that I did my bachelor in Columbia? My knowledge is not too bad, George.
Right, it seems you're so confident. We'll see you next month.
Hey, what are you doing? Why is the dinner not ready yet? Did you even clean the house today? There's so much dust everywhere around the house.
Could you please hold on for a while? I just got back home and I haven't had the time to do anything. One of my coworkers had to leave early because her son got sick at school. I had to stay behind and do some overtime to cover for her.
Yeah, that happens all the time. Do you remember what you told me the last time? You said that it was my fault that I had to do overtime. You told me that if I was more capable then I wouldn't need to do any overtime.
It wasn't my fault this time. There was no one else that could cover for her.
Enough with the excuses! Would you just hurry up and make me some dinner? I'm starving right now. I don't want to eat takeout or frozen food.
I still haven't even started cooking. Would you please wait a little while longer? I don't even think there's much food left in the fridge to make anything decent.
You're telling me to wait? I thought that doing a part-time job and the housework was so easy. Whenever I asked you to wait, you'd always get really mad and start shouting at me.
I'm sorry about that. I was underestimating the amount of work it takes.
Even if you apologize, dinner isn't gonna magically appear in front of us. Hurry up and start cooking! I feel like drinking some ginger ale today. I want the one in the glass bottle, okay? Go and buy some from the store if there isn't any in the fridge. It's at the end of the month now. I had a great time working at the company. How were things for you? It looked like you were kind of struggling. You couldn't cook, couldn't clean, couldn't do the laundry. Also, you kept forgetting to buy groceries. I was the one to do all of that task before.
No way! That's because those are all jobs that women should be doing. I'm a man, so I shouldn't have to do the housework. A man's job is to earn money.
If that's the case, then why was I able to do a great job working at the company?
Are you telling me that you're great at everything?
Yeah. All the workers gave me the compliment.
What? You must have just gotten lucky or something.
I don't think it was any luck at all. And I even got the Employee of the Month prize. I was told to be a real quick learner and mastered all the basics within a few days. I managed to adapt to the company by the 3rd week. I also was out getting clients by myself. But it took you over a half a year until you were able to do that.
You're lying, right? How can you do all of that in a month?
Dad told me that it's much better for the company if they employ me instead of you. And I believe if I keeps improving at this rate, I can become the best worker at our company. I love working for this company. The environment are so good. The coworkers are so nice. And by accident, I got to know that most of coworkers don't want to work with you. They said you're so slow. They don't want to talk to you in person just because they are afraid of Dad. But there are lots of things behind your back. Oh. I forgot to tell you. It seems like the board is gonna fire you. So that I can take your place permanently.
What? Are you being serious?
Well, you can call your dad to know. But I think you know about yourself better than anyone else. Dad gave you so many chances to prove yourself. And you failed every time. It's obviously that no company wants to hire an employee like you. With that trend, maybe you had to be out of the house as well. A pathetic guy like you can be in that house.
What? Are you threatening me?
What? No. I don't threaten or something. I just warn you to prepare what's coming next. Good luck.
No, Bona. You can do that to me. I'm your husband after all. How can you let your husband lose his job?
Yeah,
But you never treat me like your wife, but a slave. You force me to do whatever you ask. You never care about my emotion or opinion. You should go away and never turn up in front of me.
bye.
Wait! Bonea.
After that, George was fired from the company. Dad also forced him out of the house too. I heard that he was struggling in finding a job at a supermarket with very low rate. Without his dad, he is no more than a useless guy. I filed for a divorce not long after that. Then, I move out of the house and rent an apartment in the city center. Luckily, I have a beloved father-in-law who always support me. I now become the private secretary for him and I can earn up to $100,000 a year. Getting married to George is a big mistake in my life.
Hey, several of the guys from the workplace are coming over to drink after work, so make sure you have something ready before then. Prepare enough alcohol for 5 of us, as well as munchies.
Oh, Enoch, you can't just tell me these things when there isn't even anything in the house.
That's why I'm messaging you now and informing you ahead of time. You still have time before we all get at the house. So maybe you should stop complaining and start preparing.
Do you know I'm running a 42-degree temperature right now, honey? I've spent the day resting and recuperating. I simply do not have the time or energy to go to the grocery store and prepare the house for a party. Is it unreasonable to request that your coworkers come over to your house on a different day?
So it's all about what works best for you now, isn't it? You must learn to accept responsibility for your inability to plan ahead. It is your responsibility to deal with the fever or whatever you are suffering from. But, as a wife, you must serve your husband and any guests he comes home. Do you understand?
It's not like I deliberately had a fever so I could take the day off.
Aside from that, everyone at the office is always complimenting me on what a wonderful wife I have and how delicious your cooking is. That is why I am inviting guests over tonight. So they can see how talented you are as a chef. So, honey, please don't tell me I invited them to our place for nothing.
That's extremely thoughtful of you, Enoch. But I think you regard me more as a personal waitress or maid than as your wife at times. Do you have any idea how difficult it will be to clean the house before you all arrive? After you've finished eating, I'll do the dishes and clean up after you.
I don't believe you understand the point. Isn't what you just mentioned precisely what a decent wife should do? It's really not that big of a deal, so I'm not sure why you're acting as if I'm requesting something monumental.
I'm attempting to warn you that you and your pals will drink, get dirty, and leave everything for me to clean up. And I'm not sure I have it in me to do all of that on a day like today when I'm already sick.
Listen to me. You're the wife. That means it is your responsibility to look after the house. It's the same everywhere you go, in every home, so stop arguing. I'm not interested in hearing your justifications since you're a full-time housewife.
I believe I've stated this to you several times now, Enoch. I work from home, therefore I spend the entire day at home. But I'm sick today, so I took the day off.
And I think that only goes to show what a farce your so-called job is. They wouldn't have allowed you take the day off if you were actually working hard. In case you didn't already know, the actual world isn't that simple. Even if they had a 105-degree temperature, a real adult would go to work.
I don't think anybody with a fever that high could be useful to anyone. Besides, didn't you take a sick day a few weeks back when your fever was only 38 degrees? I believe you have double standards for how you and I should behave.
You're clueless. I'm basically a super genius at my job around the clock, so please excuse me if I feel entitled to a day off now and then. And with your small little fever, you don't even have room to talk to me. If you're feeling a little hot, why not try running around outside for a few minutes till you cool down? Everyone knows that's the quickest way to reduce a fever.
I can hardly believe what I'm hearing right now. Do you honestly believe that? Besides, I'm not going to go running in this state.
Why don't you get off your lazy bum and go to the shop and return instead? Because you have so much time to react to my messages, I know you aren't doing much around the house right now. If you have a fever, using your phone should be far more difficult than doing housework. Your texts don't make you sound sick.
Enoch, I'm lying in bed, messaging you, and that's it. And what do you mean when you say that using a smartphone is more difficult than doing housework? That makes no sense. That's impossible to believe.
What do you mean? And it's completely true. That is how the world operates.
What are you talking about? You've never even offered to assist me with housework. That's why there's always so much for me to do, and why I whine so much about it.
Oh, of course. I'm a male. I shouldn't even be doing housekeeping. Everyone knows that type of work is reserved for women. And, as a housewife, your job is to do it all.
I'm sure I've told you 100 times that I'm not a housewife. I'm tired of this conversation. I don't think you're really listening to what I'm saying right now. I guess I'll simply shut up and finish up my tasks.
I'm delighted to see you're starting to make sense again. Anyway, while you're there, get some sliders and those peanuts I love. You've seen them before. Then I want you to make a veggie tray out of freshly sliced vegetables, not pre-made crap. Don't forget to stock up on beer and wine.
That appears to be a significant amount of shopping. Let me handle it.
Hello, Sarah. I'll be over at your house shortly. On his last excursion, William caught far too many fish. I was hoping you wouldn't mind if I shared with you.
Oh, thank you so much, Angela. Unfortunately, I've been sick and don't have much energy. I'm sorry to bother you, but could you perhaps bring them by another day?
Please excuse me? What exactly do you mean by that? That's what you have to say to your mother-in-law when I say I'm going to bring you a gift? Is it just because I'm a bother to you?
What? No. Of course you are not a bother. It's only that I'm currently suffering from a high fever. I'm afraid that even if you did come all the way over, I wouldn't be able to properly greet you.
Oh my goodness. Do you have her fever? So, I hope you're doing everything you can to keep my little Enoch from getting sick from you. He isn't like you in that he has a genuine job that he must attend every day. If you make him ill, he won't be able to work hard enough to feed both of you.
Right. Yes. Okay. Thank you. I'll be careful. Although Enoch appeared to be in good health when he left for work today, I believe we will be okay.
You must ensure that he remains healthy. But to think you acquired a cold when all you did all day was putter around the home. It takes a lot of guts to get sick like that, in my opinion.
What? No, it's not at all like that. I believe it occurred because Enoch locked me out the other day. He arrived home drunk and yelled at me to go to the store and get him some goods. While I was gone, he bolted, chained our front door, and fell asleep.
Oh, wow. Are you really attempting to complain about my own son to me? You've got a lot of guts, don't you? Did you ever consider that maybe that is something you should have considered and planned for? Isn't it your fault you got locked out of the house?
That wasn't exactly my point. I simply mentioned it since we don't generally chain the door shut once we lock it. So I never expected to be locked out like that.
So you're just proving my point. It's all your fault. Besides, Enoch shouldn't need to know about whatever his wife requires. Why don't you just get divorced if all you want to do is complain?
I'm sorry, Angela. I believe I have a few issues to consider. Sorry, but I guess I just need to rest for the rest of the day.
Don't worry, I'll still come over and teach you all you need to know about being a wonderful wife.
No, thank you. That's really not necessary. The house is still a mess because I haven't been able to clean up since Enoch and his coworkers came over to drink last night. Right now, the house is a complete disaster. It is absolutely not necessary for you to watch it.
What exactly did you just say to me? It is already late afternoon. And you're telling me you haven't cleaned up the mess from yesterday? Are you just trying to make me angry?
The problem is that I've been sick with a fever since yesterday. But Enoch wanted to spend out with his pals at our house. I was so busy making sure there was always food and drink available that I was really fatigued by the end.
So you had my youngster start his day in a filthy house? I'm not sure where you're going, young lady. What you are doing is heinous. How can you call yourself his wife if you can't even do the simplest of housework? You should be embarrassed.
Have you been paying attention to anything I've said all this time? I just finished telling you that despite having a fever, I not only accomplished the chores but also hosted a night of drinking.
That is precisely what a good wife should do. Don't congratulate yourself for doing the bare minimum. Now get out of bed and begin cleaning the house. And I promise that if the entire place isn't perfectly clean by the time I arrive, I really will make Enoch divorce you.
That is why I am requesting that you not come over today. I simply do not have the energy to do anything today.
Hey, how long do you intend to stay at home and do nothing? My mother informed me of all you've been up to. What about how you were passed out on the floor when she arrived at our house? And that you even forced her play along with your little act to the point of calling an ambulance for you.
Your mother informed me that she was coming over and that I needed to tidy the house before she arrived. And as soon as I stood up, I became dizzy and went out. I attempted to persuade your mother not to come over yesterday, but she had already decided. She forced her way inside using a spare key she'd already prepared. But I guess it was because of it that she found me on the floor and called for aid.
She also mentioned how the place was still a shambles because you didn't clean up after my party. How could you have let her into our home and see that? Even though I warned you that the house had best be spotless by the time I returned. It's a good thing my mother caught you and realized how lazy you are when no one is home.
Really? After everything I did to make sure you and your coworkers had everything you needed the other night? Do you realize how much you sound like your mother right now? My fever had already reached 42 by the time I arrived at the hospital.
And that suits you well. I had to go to work without breakfast this morning because of your sloth. You're lucky because I'll be out drinking with the guys again tonight, so I'll be ready for dinner. Even so, I'm still stunned by the state you're leaving our home in. It's revolting.
Look at me, Enoch. You created the shambles, therefore you must clean it up.
Please excuse me? What did you just say? Is this any way to communicate with someone who has been so good to you while you've been sick? It's only a 42-degree fever, and you're using it as an excuse to avoid doing any housework? I don't care if you've already checked in, if you haven't turned around, returned home, and cleaned that place by the time I get home. We're done.
Okay, we're done. Let's get a divorce.
Wait, what?
No, you're correct. It's better this way. Being with you has only ever given me stress, and more stress. I'm tired of you always treating me like a slave. Let's just get things over with.
Wait. Please wait a moment. Are you serious?
Of course I am. I'm just doing what you suggested. As soon as I get out of the hospital, I'll begin completing the paperwork so that we can make it official. Goodbye, Enoch.
Hey. You know I'll take you back at any time. So stop being so stubborn and come home already.
Please excuse me? Do you want me to come back? Are you certain you don't simply miss having a slave to bully around? What a farce. But I'm quite content enjoying a beautiful life without you.
What? You mean you're fine with not seeing me?
Well, of course. In fact, now that I'm not with you, I'm feeling better than I have in years. Divorcing you was one of the smartest moves I've ever made. I can't even remember what made me want to marry you in the first place.
But when you were here, you never seemed to be upset. Have you already found work or something? I assumed you couldn't function without me and my work.
I can't believe I have to explain this to you again. I did my work from home. I've always worked for myself and made my own money. You truly are the worst, you know? I don't think you've ever actually listened to anything I've attempted to tell you.
Wait. So you were serious about working from home, right? So you're totally fine without me?
Oh, it's much more than that. I've been living my best life without you. Without you around to make messes all over the place for me to clean up, life is a lot easier. This is the best I've felt in years.
Come on. How can you say something like that? Please, Sarah. Just come home now. The house is a shambles. And, because I'm a man, I don't know how to cook or clean the house. It's just not the same without you. So, could you perhaps come over every now and then to take care of the house?
Are you even listening to yourself? Do you still have any brain cells in there, or did you drink them all away? Give me one reason why I'd want to clean up after someone as bad as you. And, besides, do you believe you can't cook because you're a man? We're all humans, man or woman.
But, in my entire life, I've never had to cook. And, of course, I've never cleaned a house or done anything similar. So, please just come over and show me the fundamentals.
Do you believe I was taught how to accomplish all of those things? Why don't you just try using your precious few remaining brain cells? You don't know how to cook since you have never had to cook for yourself. So, why not express your appreciation to the individuals in your life who have always cooked for you?
That's exactly what I've been attempting to express. Cooking is a woman's occupation. That's why I've never done it, won't do it, and shouldn't have to.
So you'll simply have to starve till you find someone else, won't you? But, seriously, do you think there aren't any men out there who live alone and cook for themselves? You don't think it's a little archaic to believe that it's a woman's responsibility to cook and clean? You're just making up reasons why you can't do anything for yourself.
It's not my fault, after all. I never had to do anything like that when I was younger, so I have no idea how to do it today.
Well, I guess you'll have to do it now, so get started. What did you expect to get from all these pitiful crocodile tears? And, moreover, didn't you always claim that housework was the easiest?
Obviously, if I put my mind to it, I could do it, but...
But what? What else could you possibly say? Why am I bothering to inquire? I don't care what happens to you or your life. So, please stop messaging me.
Please, wait. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have treated you that way. But I truly can't do these duties. Please help. You are the only one I can turn to for assistance right now.
No way. You should not expect me to ever help you again. After all the many ways you've thrown the work I accomplished back in my face, I think that should be quite evident. Maybe spending so much time alone with yourself will eventually make you realize how powerless you are without others to clean up after you. After that, I blocked Enoch on all platforms. And Enoch knew he had lost the one person to whom he had become accustomed to calling for assistance. I never informed him where I went so he couldn't track me down or bother me again in person. I'm sure his apartments get messier by the day. It's probably almost uninhabitable at this point. Not long after leaving Enoch, I met an amazing man. In fact, we're already talking about getting married. He's always helpful around the house, cooking and cleaning. There was nothing more pitiful than a man who couldn't even care for himself.
Hey, Ariel! Did you finally make something delicious for dinner tonight? Don't think I'll allow you get away with serving slop like you did yesterday. I'm starving!
Yes, sweetie. I made an effort to create something I thought you might enjoy. I tried to tell you, but I was too preoccupied with work yesterday to prepare a nice meal for you.
What? You have a job? Ha. But, seriously, Ariel, let's stop with the jokes. Wasn't it you who came to me and asked if there was anything you could do around the house?
Do you know that I run my business out of our house, honey? While I'm here, I work virtually every day. I've tried so many times to explain it to you, but you never seem to listen. Before we got married, you were so amazing at listening to what I had to say. But now that we're married, it's as if you don't hear anything I say. You're not ill or anything, are you?
What on earth are you talking about? Could you please stop talking for a moment? Okay, I'm quite aware of your adorable business. But don't go claiming that what you do is anything resembling a legitimate job like mine, okay? And definitely don't try to use that as an excuse to avoid doing your tasks. You stated you wanted to be a housewife, and now you're attempting to avoid your responsibilities. Now, let's talk about dinner.
Yes, it is. I work from home and spend more time here than you, but I don't think it's fair to imply I don't have a genuine job. I believe I earn a reasonable wage for us. Dylan, I guess you're the only one among us who thinks I signed up to be a housewife.
I'd had enough of these excuses. Did you really believe you'd be able to marry and be someone's wife without being expected to do housework as well? It's part of the deal.
You are aware that we split all of our expenses 50-50, right? So I'm not sure where you got the idea that you could delegate all of the housework to me while I was working. At the absolute least, I'd like to think you'll be more understanding when I tell you I don't have time to make anything for us for supper. There are times when I am too busy to do anything, okay?
Let's get this straight, okay? Do you comprehend that I go to work every day? So I just don't have time to take care of stuff around the house.
And please understand that I work every day. And just because I work from home does not make it any less important than the work you do.
You just can't get off your high horse, can you? Just shut up already. Hurry up and start making dinner. If it tastes as horrible as it did yesterday, you're in for a treat.
So whether you think it's good or bad isn't really up to me, is it? But do you really believe I'm going out of my way to make bad-tasting dinners for you?
Did you consider that you might just be a terrible cook? You only appear to be excellent at talking back and making excuses. You realize all you do is laze around the house being worthless while running your mouth? You truly are a useless, worthless wife.
I'm not trying to argue with you, Dylan. But I truly believe that my employment from home is legitimate.
So you don't think you need to make any changes? You're just going to sit there and moan about bullshit to me?
But you're the one who's been whining about it all. I believe you should take a step back and attempt to gain some perspective on all of this. I am still doing and have been doing all of the chores around here. If all you have to say about what I do is complain, why don't you try cooking anything sometime?
Oh, you have a lot of guts to respond to me like that, don't you? You should know that I also live in that house. If that's what you mean by getting the housework done, I think you should take a step back and reconsider.
That is my point. You are the one that is upset over everything, not I. Anyway, I completed dinner. It'll be ready for you when you come home. So you don't have to worry about it. So, at the very least, you don't have to be concerned about that.
I promise I'll kick you out of the house if you're sloppy again. Ariel, I am almost there. My mother and father both worked, and my mother never grumbled about making sure the cooking was done correctly every day. She was the ideal wife. And then there's you, who can't seem to get anything right. You should strive to learn from her. She was a wonderful lady.
You are aware that your mother and I are not the same person, aren't you? Since your parents were children, times have changed. Are all these details fresh to you? In any event, I really don't appreciate being compared to your mother.
Wow, simply wow. There's nothing I can do to aid you, Ariel. And, to be honest, I don't think you have the strength to pull yourself together and learn the housekeeping skills you should already have. I mean, the very least you could learn to do is cook some stuff that is at least edible.
Okay. Fine. I'm not going to say anything else.
Hello, Ariel. I'm just texting to check that we can still come over to your place next Wednesday. I was wondering if there was a time that would work for me to swing by briefly. If it's not too much of a hassle for you, darling.
Oh, dear. I'm sorry, but I have a meeting on Wednesday. I'm attending an online meeting, but I'm not sure how it will conclude.
Oh. You've had a meeting? That's correct. Do you have a job, Ariel?
That's correct. I'm now working from home. To be honest, I work more than 40 hours most weeks.
Is that right? I don't think I knew that. Dylan always said you were a full-time homemaker. I'm sorry, sweetheart, I think I misread the situation.
No. To be honest, I don't believe it's your fault. Dylan is aware that I work from home. Most of the time, however, it appears that he simply cannot believe that I do. I suppose he just doesn't get the concept of working from home.
Oh, I see. But, sweetheart, shouldn't your husband be aware of your occupation? I sincerely apologize if my son said something that irritated you.
No. Rosa, you don't need to apologize for this. Please trust me when I say that I adore you. You and your husband both worked while you took care of the chores and cooking. You're also parenting 3 sons. It's very wonderful.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm not understanding what you're saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a little perplexed.
The thing is, I never worked again after I got married.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry, but there's something else I'd like to ask you in that case. Would you mind if I asked you about it later?
I'm not sure I believe you right now. So, where do you get off? It's pathetic if this is what you call being a housewife. You can't really do anything right now, can you?
Dylan, do you have another problem about dinner? Besides, are you really a nice husband if you lose your temperature wife for such selfish reasons?
I'm sick of your foolishness, Ariel. What if you just don't do anything? How does it sound to sit around the house doing nothing?
What? Are you certain that's what you want from me?
Sure, I am. You're such a useless woman. You're just a jerk who can't even do the fundamental necessities of housekeeping. How can you call yourself a housewife when your cooking is this bad? Just hurry up and start cooking dinner. If it tastes as horrible as it did yesterday, you're in for a treat.
Okay, good. I am not going to do anything.
Wait, what? And what exactly do you mean?
That's exactly what I meant. I heard what you said and intend to follow through on it. Anyway, best of luck in work.
Hey! What kind of silly little game do you think you're playing right now? And where did you flee to? Are you serious about doing nothing?
Of course, I'm serious.
You've got a lot of guts, don't you? So you're not going to cook anything, clean the toilet, or do any laundry. And you thought your husband, would be fine with all of this?
Yes? Of course. Isn't this just what you requested this morning? I'm merely doing what you ordered me to do, nothing.
You really don't understand it, do you? I don't think I've ever met somebody with such an ability to irritate me. That truly elevates you.
In any case, all you do is get furious and frustrated with me. Don't you think you should just give up at this point? Also, you also stink.
What game do you believe you're playing here? Are you trying to see how far you can irritate me? And how am I meant to live in this place if things are going to be this bad?
That is not my issue. I had a similar thought.
What on earth are you talking about?
I'm informing you that I've left the house. I refuse to take care of you and be forced to wait on you any longer. Do you realize how stupid you are, Dylan?
What? Please excuse me. You think I'm a moron?
You know, despite the fact that I make far more money than you, all you ever did was treat me like your obedient housewife. I don't know how many times I've had to explain it to you, but you do realize I make over $1 million per year, don't you?
You do not. I can't believe you could make so much money.
Wow. Wow, just wow. Did we really go so far as to marry, with you always thinking what I said was a joke? But, to be honest, that just goes to demonstrate how correct I was about you. Anyway, I don't really care what happens to you any longer. I want a divorce.
Wait! A divorce? Come on. Let us not be so hasty. These issues must be discussed and handled with care. What has happened to you all of a sudden? This is very unusual for you. Furthermore, are you serious about the $10,000? Do you actually make that much money?
I told you that while you were telling me how much money you make. But I know that if you were ever genuinely inquisitive about it, you could have checked it with some basic math.
I guess I just never bothered to do the math. I had no clue you were earning that much money. It's amazing.
So you're acknowledging it. That you were never interested in learning anything about your own wife. I should have known you were the type to project your own delusions of reality onto others. Well, in a million years, I would have never wanted to marry you.
What exactly are you talking about? Look, I'm not sure what you're referring to, but are you serious about getting a divorce? Just tell me where you are right now.
And why would I tell you that? I've already placed the divorce papers on the table. All you have to do is sign them and mail them.
But why? Did you truly despise being a housewife?
How many times do I have to tell you? I'm not a housewife. You just don't seem to grasp it, do you? Dylan, you need to focus on your listening skills. Speaking of which, I'm sure you had no idea your own mother stayed at home and did not work.
Wait, what?
You were always bragging about what a wonderful woman your mother was. She was often bragging about how well she worked and handled the house. So I talked to her, and she informed me that when she got married, she never worked again.
Oh, I see. Is this correct? I guess I just assumed she worked.
You mean she never sat you down and explained how tough it would be for her to raise 3 children on her own while working? She was only able to stay at home and concentrate on matters at home because of how much money your father made. That's the only way she could raise your children, feed you all, and keep the house tidy. So why don't you tell me all about the fantasy ideal that you were constantly attempting to make me follow?
Well, it's not as if I forced you to do anything. I didn't believe I was losing my cool all that much. But please accept my apologies, it was a mistake. I truly believe my mother worked, and I hope you can understand.
Dylan, you could never see, let alone understand, what was going on right in front of you.
Is there anything you'd like to say to me, Ariel?
You know absolutely nothing about your mother or wife. Or should I say ex-wife? I don't want to see you again after this. And has your mother already apologized to me?
What? She apologized? For what? I don't get it.
She apologized for having such a useless son. And for the anguish you inflicted on me. She stated she absolutely understood why I wanted a divorce.
Did she actually say all that?
And I have to agree with her. Even if I ignored you continually criticizing my job. Every day, all you did was critique the housework I'd done without ever offering to help. You were always sitting around critiquing me while drinking your beer. And it took a long time for me to realize that I no longer love you, Dylan.
No way! Of course, Ariel, you still adore me. Come on!
Actually, I think you've become a little strange. I no longer have even a speck of affection for you. Furthermore, getting rid of you will give me a lot more time to concentrate on my career. I'll finally be able to concentrate without having to worry about doing chores for some overgrown man-child.
So you're saying you don't like me now? You think I'm a man-child? I'm 35, you know?
Even at 35, you can't do the basic minimum to look after yourself. It's pitiful. You're only good at talking trash. Anyway, I'm never going back. So I hope you're having fun with the life you've created for yourself. Because I've been such a useless wife all this time, right? It's a good thing you're capable of handling everything on your own.
Wait! Please wait a minute. So, who will prepare my dinner?
What? Do you want to eat? You were always complaining about every dish I made you. Do you honestly think I'd cook for you again after all this?
But Ariel, if you don't prepare me dinner. So, what should I eat now? How am I expected to go on living like this?
You are truly a pitiful excuse for a human being. For a change, why not make or buy something yourself? I realize this may be a difficult concept for you to grasp, but we're going to divorce, got it? And I'm never going to prepare you dinner again. In fact, I never want to see your face again.
I apologize, Ariel. I should not have treated you that way. Please accept my sincere apologies. However, a divorce. I believe we need to discuss this more.
Will you please reconsider? I'm going to change. I guarantee it.
No. Dylan, I've made my decision. So go ahead and tell me what you still have to say. Why don't you read back through those texts and think about what you've put me through?
I will. I pledge to reflect on what I've done and make changes. And, to be honest, I had no idea how much money you made. I'm going to quit my career and start helping around the house.
No, I'm afraid I'll pass on that.
But why?
You can't even pick what to have for supper. What makes you believe you'd be useful around the house? Dylan, I already know you're all talk. Anyway, why don't we just call it quits? Just sign the paperwork, okay? If you don't, I'll hire a lawyer. And the whole affair will become even more expensive.
You're so cruel.
Bye! What if you attempted producing your own foul food?
Dylan was in a rough position when Ariel requested a divorce. He immediately changed his mind after learning how much she made. He pleaded and begged her not to leave him, but she refused. Dylan never heard from Ariel after that. Even his mother supported Ariel during the divorce. He had no idea how much anguish he had caused Ariel. It wasn't until after the divorce that he recognized how thoughtful she'd been. He now realized how inconsiderate he was being to her. However, it was far too late by then. Meanwhile, Ariel is enjoying her single life while her savings grow.
Where are you? I just realized I didn't see your mother either.
I'm out to see the ballet with Mom today. We'll have dinner after and then go home. There's a popular French restaurant nearby that I wanted to visit.
What? Just the two of you?
Yup. You don't have time to go see the ballet. Because you're the one that has to take care of that old man.
But you could have at least said something.
What are you going to do even if I tell you? You're staying home with the old man anyway.
Please don't call your father old man. I feel sorry for him.
The name old man is enough for that guy.
Why are you and your mother so cold to him?
He's always been a timid, unreliable man. It's just so pathetic to watch. And on top of that, he's now disabled and needs nursing care. I'm just hoping he'll be gone soon.
It wasn't his fault that he became disabled. Don't blame your father, he's just ill.
You're always defending that old man, aren't you? Do you feel a bond with other useless people? Pathetic.
Useless people?
He's just baggage, and you're sterile. You can't even get pregnant. Give me back my hopes and dreams.
I'm sorry.
I must have married the wrong person because we've been married for 5 years and we can't have kids. The only thing a useless wife like you can do is take care of the old man.
I have never disliked being his caretaker. Your father was always kind to me.
The only reason the old man is nice to you is that he wants your company. There was no one in this house on his side. He probably feels a connection with you, another useless human.
I'm pity your father.
Huh?
You and your mother go see the ballet. The money you spend on eating out is your father's money, right?
The only thing he is going for him is money. Well, he's not the only one who earned the fortune of this house.
Stop saying that.
That old man, even that one, was born into a rich family. He's got nothing but money. The old man can't even shop for himself anyway. We're just making the most of it. It's our right as family.
Your father may be physically handicapped, but is clear in the head. I'm sure he's very sad that you and your mother are treating him so coldly.
I don't care. I just wish that baggage would be gone soon. I forgot to mention. I'll be traveling abroad from tomorrow.
What? Overseas? That's so sudden.
I've been planning this for a while. I just didn't tell you. We're traveling on a luxury cruise.
Oh,
Yeah,
but what about your father?
He has you. It's just me and my mom going.
What about me? You guys are leaving me and your father behind?
Of course. How can we take someone like him on a trip? He's going to need someone to take care of him.
You're leaving me behind.
We can't just leave the old man alone. If something goes wrong, it'll be on us. Besides, I'd rather travel alone with my mom. It's no fun when you're in the way.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about you and the old man.
It's just the two of you again, in the lack of luxury. And how much does a luxury cruise cost?
I haven't been abroad for a while, so I wanted to go. I wanted to show my mom the beautiful scenery of Europe. The cost was a bit out there, but I can afford it.
You paid for it with your father's money.
The old man's fortune will be ours in the near future anyway. What we do with it is our business. I'll buy you a souvenir if I feel like it.
Even though your father hasn't been feeling well lately. How can you travel by yourselves?
It's probably just a cold or something. Besides, it's none of my business what happens to the old man.
You and your mother are too cold. And selfish.
Huh? Do you have a problem with me?
I have nothing but complaints. What does your father and I ever do to you? How can you guys be so selfish?
You're so cocky, aren't you? You're just a housewife. I could kick you out of my house if I wanted to. But if that happens, you'll be left pennilessing on the street.
If he heard about this, I'm sure your father would get angry.
I don't care. You can't do anything with that body even if he gets angry. If that old man ever messes with me or Mom, I'm gonna get even with him. I'm gonna beat him well.
You really are a terrible person.
Hey, you home? I'm coming home now, so get the food ready. I miss American food. European food was great, but it's just not the same.
Welcome back. You've finally returned.
Oh! I forgot to get you guys a souvenir. Well, that's okay, right?
Where are you now?
I just took a cab from the nearest station. I'll be home soon. Hurry up and cook. I'm so hungry.
Again, you contact me out of the blue like that.
I want tomato soup and baked potatoes for dinner. And maybe some grilled steak. I want to eat freshly cooked bread, too.
Months away from home. Don't you care how we're doing? Your father's condition and stuff. Don't you have something to say before requesting a whole dinner menu?
I don't care about his condition. I'm tired. Get ready and cook. Quick!
I'm gonna be home before you can stop blabbing.
You're still a hopeless case, aren't you? No wonder your father abandoned you.
You better watch your mouth. You think you're the master of the house now because we've been gone for 2 months?
Whatever.
I was just stating a fact.
Hey! What happened to the house? Where are you and the old man? Why is the house gone? Why is the land being cleared?
You should have seen this coming. That's what happens when you take things too far.
What are you talking about? What happened?
I warned you, didn't I? I said, even if your father would be angry, didn't I?
So, explain to me what's going on. Mom is just sitting here in shock. Did the old man do this?
We tore down the house and sold the land.
Huh? Are you kidding?
It wasn't me, it was your father. Oh, and that's not all. He changed all of his assets into money, like cars, etc.
What on earth is that old man doing?
Shortly after you guys left, your father contacted his realtor, lawyer, and accountant. A week later, we moved all our stuff out of the house. The demolition happened so fast, I was surprised too.
Where are you now?
I'm staying at my parents' house for now. Your father paid for my flight and all the money to move out of the house.
How dare you do this? Who told you it was okay to do this?
I told you, your father made the decision. And we're getting a divorce too. I'm sorry you're tired from your trip, but I'm sure you'll be able to handle that too.
You don't get to decide on your own.
It's because you went on a trip without asking me. I'll make sure the process is handled through a divorce attorney. Your father paid for my legal fees, so that helped.
That feeble old man. He seriously did all this just to corner us? But still, I can't believe it demolished the house. He's nuts.
You guys really made your father angry. Also, he did this for me too. He said he would punish you for me.
And he paid your legal fees? He even paid for your move?
He said if I were getting a divorce, he would work with me to make it as favorable to me as possible. Like the property division and stuff. Also, your father is divorcing your mother. He said he had nothing to do with her anymore.
Think of how my mom would feel. What is she supposed to do if she gets divorced at her age?
You did the same thing to me.
That was just a threat. I was never gonna dump you.
This is all your own fault. No matter how coldly you treated him, your father never said a word. So you guys just went with it. You both took his kindness for granted.
You're kidding me. We let him live with us, and he should thank us for it. Even after the old man became disabled, we still let him live with us.
Why should he thank you guys for that? He was happier moving out of the house. If he stayed home, he would only be treated coldly by you and your mother.
Shut up. Old people, they're happiest at home.
You kept your father in the house because you were stingy with the money. It costs a lot to put him in a nursing home. But if you let me take care of him, there's no cost, and that's convenient.
You're good for nothing. I gave you a job. You're trash. You're a joke. Don't you guys think you can get away with this?
You still take such a high-handed attitude. I'm really stunned by you.
Whatever the old man does, I'm the heir to his fortune. Answer me. Where's the old man? I'm gonna take all his fortune away from him.
Your father is in a nursing home. And I think his fortune is pretty much gone. Your father paid in advance for his 5 years nursing home cost. The cost of a nursing home is so expensive. All the money and savings he made from selling things are almost gone.
Almost?
The fortune is your father's, so it's up to him how he wants to use it. There's nothing you can do about it now. Unfortunately. I doubt there's any money for you to inherit. Because there is nothing left.
Tell me where the old man is.
Are you going to hit him? Then I won't tell you. I've alerted the nursing home that his family may try to harm him. If you go visit, you'll probably be accompanied by security guard.
Stop mocking me.
You just did what we had to do to protect ourselves. How much longer are you going to keep up with that attitude? You should have a better understanding of the position you're in.
Good morning. I'm sorry about last night. I got mad and said a lot of terrible things to you. Again, I'd like to have a discussion with you.
I don't care. I'm used to getting this attitude from you. So is your father.
I treated my father terribly, too. My mom and I are both sorry for what we've done. I'm so sorry.
Oh. You've changed your attitude a lot. You seem to have finally figured it out. Our positions have been completely reversed.
I just realized we were a little too selfish.
Are you trying to win over me? You're worried about a property division, aren't you? If I take your property, you'll have nothing left.
My mom is broke now. I'll have to take care of her financially.
Yes, that's right. Your mother has never had a job, and I don't think she can even find a job.
So I'm trying to leave some savings on the table.
In other words?
I want a 50-50 split of the property. Please.
No. I don't want to.
Are you serious?
You have been so selfish all this time. That's enough. Why don't you try to live modestly and without luxuries from now on?
It's not like we're short on money. But I can't live like this.
But you still have a job. Your mother has her pension, too.
Still, it's a far cry from what he used to be. How could she suddenly reduce her quality of life after decades of living in luxury?
How naive are you at this point? You two have no choice but to reduce your quality of life. There's no other option. There's no way you can do what you've been doing, no matter how much your mother cries and screams.
That's not what I'm saying.
You can't afford to be extravagant anymore either. You should have had a better paying job. You didn't choose a job seriously, because you thought you were going to inherit all your father's fortune.
I didn't think you would make such a crazy move. I can't believe you demolished the house.
Your father didn't hesitate. He said he had nothing but bad memories of that house. He built that house for his family. I really felt sorry for him.
No matter how angry he was, he didn't have to go this far, did he?
Doesn't that mean his resentment was that deep? I only lived there for 5 years since I married you. But your father left with you guys for decades. Kind people are indeed scary when they get angry. I can't believe you were so easily abandoned. Guess we found out who was the baggage. My husband and I then proceeded with our divorce through the attorney. I was able to prove the emotional distress I was suffering from my husband. Most of the property became mine. As for the property division between my ex-husband's father and mother, his mother's share was none. And my ex-father-in-law and I each got divorced. My ex-husband and his mother lived together, but they couldn't suddenly drop their standard of living. Because his mother tried to live the same way she did when she was spoiled by my ex-father-in-law's money. My ex-husband had no choice but to go into debt, and that's why he and his mother's relationship crumbled. I reconnected with my childhood friend shortly after I moved back to my hometown and we started dating. And then we got married. I was so concerned about my ex-father-in-law that I went to see him once a year. He died exactly 5 years later. He got cancer in his later years. He lived until the last minute to ensure the cost he had already paid was not refunded to his son. I guess that's how much he resented him.